What's up? What's up? Kyle Henderson, Bama football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I'm coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I hope that you are off to a really good start. I know I am. December 14th, we got some recruiting. I want to talk about Alabama's schedule. I want to talk about headlines across the world of college football. But first of all, thank you very much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate you guys being here. Like, subscribe. I really appreciate all the continued support as we continue to move through the last couple days before signing day, which will be next Wednesday. And then we head off to Pasadena as Alabama takes on the Michigan Wolverines. So I want to jump right into it. And when you look to the recruiting headlines, you have LT Overton and you have Fidel Diggs, each of Texas A&M, and each of those guys likely going to have some very difficult decisions when it comes to where they want to go from the transfer portal from Texas A&M to the next stop. And each of those guys are visiting this coming weekend. And I think with each of those guys on the defensive line, we all know that Texas A&M was a defense that was built by Jimbo Fisher, and this was supposed to be that really impactful defensive line with, the money could buy all of these guys. It didn't turn out the way that Jimbo Fisher wanted it, and now a lot of these guys from Texas A&M entering the portal, and I get it. They have to do what's right for themselves, and here we are up to this point on as we enter signing day. Let me edit this real quick as we fix it. I saw the error in LT Overton's name. As you know, I'm a perfectionist, so I got to make sure everything is nice and tight on here. But I think that from the transfer portal perspective, when you look to the guys that Texas A&M had on their defensive line, they were absolutely formidable, 100%. And now that you see a couple of these guys into the portal, you look to the guys that Alabama has leaving into the portal. You had Anquin Barnes and Isaiah Hastings. Each of those guys, defensive linemen, is it going to be that LT Overton and Fidel Diggs just enter Alabama? I don't know. That could certainly be the case. It looks like Diggs is probably closer to making that decision to Alabama, but I guess we'll have to figure it out over the next couple of days with each of those guys taking visits right now, and then each of those guys will be in Tuscaloosa within these next couple of days. So it's silly season, as we know. There's a lot to dive into when you look to the transfer portal and kind of the world of college football and how these guys are moving in the NIL deals and where they could fit in, fit out, and where they're going to go in their next career. And I think one of the things that Coach Saban has to continue to tell these young men is that the developmental process from being at Alabama to the next level. I mean, who else can get it done at the highest level other than Coach Saban? I thought this was a huge marquee last night. This was massive. Coach Saban visits with Perry Thompson. So the 5-star wide receiver down in L.A., that's Lower Alabama. When I first moved here, I'm going to take your calls in just a minute as well. I've told this story before, but L.A. is Lower Alabama. It's not L.A. where Pasadena is, right? So L.A. is Lower Alabama, and I love the fact that Coach Saban goes down. I like this photo in particularly because Coach Saban is with Mama, right? And as you know, if you win over Mama, then you have an even better chance. So Perry Thompson, this has been an interesting recruiting situation to follow. He's a 5-star wide receiver, elite talent, and right now he is committed to Auburn. Now there was a picture that Perry Thompson posted. It was this picture of Coach Saban last night, and there were some other coaches from Alabama alongside them, but also a photo of Auburn. And, he's there with Hugh Freeze, and I love the fact that Coach Saban goes out with the whole drip, right? And he has his tie on, and he's always so polished. And I love the Blazers that he has this recruiting season. It is flip season and, closing time for Coach Saban, as we've continued to talk about. I don't know. I mean, Perry Thompson just posted on his Instagram that he's going to make his decision on Wednesday, which will be signing day. And he had a photo of Alabama and a photo of Auburn. Is he seeking more attention? Is it going to come down to the wire? I don't know. I mean, clearly Coach Saban still has a vested interest in Perry Thompson. It's not over till it's over. So he's going to be signing on Wednesday. Let's see what Coach Saban can do. But that would be a fantastic addition. And I know there's a ton of stuff going on with Ryan Williams right now, visiting with Auburn, and people, chirping whispering in his ear about Auburn. Look, these kids they're young, 17, 18 years old. There's a lot of money on the table. It's an in-state type deal. So when you have Ryan Williams or Perry Thompson, it's going to be exciting no matter how you spin it. So Coach Saban going to visit with Perry Thompson. I thought that was really significant news last night. Favour Edwin looks to make a decision here soon. I don't know if that's going to be today or tomorrow or Saturday, but it looks like he is trending towards Alabama. Now, why is this significant? Well, anytime you get offensive linemen, and I think yesterday, I posted that news and we were talking about it. And this young man is massive. And here is his profile from On3. So he is 6'8", 290 pounds. So if you follow him, go follow him on Instagram, and I'm sure he'll make an announcement at some point. But 6'8", 290 pounds, out of the state of Georgia. Alabama continues to do a really good job in the state of Georgia, and as you can see, the recruiting prediction machine has him as an 80% lock to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Of course, he hasn't made a decision. There you see Auburn right behind, and then you see Florida on the right. But this would be a massive pickup for Alabama in terms of offensive tackle that Alabama clearly needs. Alabama does have a really good set of offensive linemen coming into this class of 2024, but anytime that you can get a 6'8" addition, and I think when you look to Edwin, he's probably, a couple years out from being an impact player. You see the 3-star type ranking. I know all those rankings change when you come to the University of Alabama, but Eric Wolford probably doesn't get enough credit for the job that he's done with this team from the beginning of the season to the end, and I think he can develop players. He did a really good job coming from Kentucky to Alabama, and I like the way that he's been able to work with this set of offensive linemen. Clearly getting Edwin would be massive news for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So we'll keep you posted on that in terms of the recruiting situation for Edwin. All right, we also got a running back update. Alabama needs a running back in the class of 2024. Kevin Riley is right here in Tuscaloosa. I mean, Tuscaloosa County High School is not far away. They're in Northport, from Tuscaloosa, from, Bryant-Denny Stadium, to be honest. I mean, I live in Tuscaloosa, and, I have friends right in Northport. I mean, they touch each other. So Tuscaloosa County, I actually work out at Tuscaloosa County High School. It's not far at all. So Kevin Riley is currently the running back there, committed to Miami. And he's got a tough decision to make. Do you want to go to Miami and, be a Hurricane, play in the ACC, or do you want to come to Alabama and compete against the best in the country? And I'll talk about the Alabama football schedule and kind of my thoughts on the ACC here in a second. But, look, I get it. If you're Kevin Riley, things are set up for you to probably play a little bit sooner at Miami. But here at Alabama, it's going to take some time. I mean, you look at the guys that Alabama has coming back. I don't even know if Roydell Williams is going to leave 100%. So, you have Roydell, you have Jam Miller. I would assume that Jace moves on. And then you have Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, and then you have Richard Young. So there's a lot of running backs, but you need a variety of really versatile running backs at the college level. And I know that Kevin Riley, he has a lot of respect for what Coach Saban has done with all the players. So I know that's going to be a really difficult decision for him in terms of what do you do? Do you go with the in-state, elite dynasty, or do you go spread your wings somewhere else in Miami? I'm curious to see how that one shakes out. But either way, Alabama does need a running back. Saban, I love this. Jalen Mbakwe, right? He's at the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game. 5-star defensive back, completely balled out in the 6A state title game. But what was amazing is that Saban still made a way out to see his family, right? So he stops by and he visits with Mbakwe's mom and his siblings. I love that, right? Like the coach knows what to do. This is closing time for the GOAT. So even though Jalen's not there, coach still had an in-home visit with Mbakwe's mom and his family. And I mean, come on, like how can you not love what the GOAT is doing? And of course, we're not hyping up Jalen Mbakwe enough. That guy is an absolute phenom. Huge addition to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Love that they're able to get him 100%. All right, let's talk about Alabama's schedule because that was released yesterday, and they had a schedule reveal. And I'll get to my callers. I know I have a good list of callers, 5 callers lined up. Let's see, we got it in the tank. We got a 205-470-865 and a 601. I'll get to you guys here in just a second. I appreciate you guys. Be patient. Let's look at Alabama's schedule. What did you guys think about? And what's up? I see all you guys inside the comment box. I appreciate you guys being here 100%. What's up, Samuel? I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, quick note. So tomorrow, which will be Friday, I'm going to be live at 10 a.m., not 9 a.m. My little girl has her Christmas performance at 8:30 in the morning. So you know how time is precious with your children. So I'm going to push back my show to 10 a.m. And then, as you guys know, I'm flying to New Mexico in the evening time on Friday. So tomorrow, just for programming note, I will be live at 10 a.m., not 9 a.m. Because, you got to see those Christmas performances. I can't wait. I love this time of year. I'm festive. I decorate. My house is lit up. I got the Santa out front. So I'm all about it, and I cannot wait to see that performance tomorrow. So that is a programming note. Let's look at Alabama's football schedule, and this was released yesterday. And look, these are my thoughts about the overall schedule, okay? So they open up, and I'll just go through the schedule with you guys. So we're looking at the left of the screen right here. So open up with Western Kentucky. And then you have South Florida. That's a 1-1 series, right? Alabama went down to Tampa, and South Florida's coming up here to Tuscaloosa. And then on September 14th, Alabama will go to Wisconsin. Then there's an open week, and you got Georgia. Then you go to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt. You have South Carolina. Then go to Tennessee, Missouri. Another open week. At LSU, Mercer, at Oklahoma, and Auburn. A couple notes to the right, okay? There's no East and West in terms of the division this year. It's just straight up the number 1, the number 2 will play each other for the conference championship game, similar to how the Big 12 has it taking place this year, and the same with the ACC. Excuse me. Alabama has 2 straight home games for the first time since 2006. That's interesting. This will be the second trip ever to Wisconsin. The last time, I guess, was back in 1928. And then the two teams met in 2015, but that was in Dallas. They take on Georgia. That game will be at 6:30 p.m. prime time on ABC. Can't wait to see those two teams match up. The third Saturday in October continues versus Tennessee. Alabama has 2 bye weeks this year, which will make for a long season. And then you have the road games this year include at Wisconsin, at Vanderbilt, at Tennessee, at LSU, and Oklahoma. The last time Alabama was out in Oklahoma was back in 2002. So my thoughts when you look at the schedule, look, it's definitely a challenging schedule, 100%. I love the schedule set up. I think the first couple of weeks will provide Alabama a chance to really kind of build up that continuity that you need in the beginning part of the season. But when I was watching the schedule reveal last night on the SEC, and you're seeing all these big time matchups, I couldn't help but think, and help me inside the comment box if you think the same thing, what I'm about to say. This SEC, now with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas, and just seeing all the matchups, it made the ACC even more irrelevant, right? Have the Attorney General dig into that. Because, my goodness, you pull up the teams in the ACC compared to the SEC, man, it's crazy. This is going to be a gauntlet. I mean, you're going to have 2-loss, 3-loss teams making that top 12 and being even better just based off the competition, right? The cream is going to rise to the top. We know that. But the gauntlet of these schedules, did you guys see the back end of Florida's schedule? I know Josh Pay talked about that recently. My goodness. Florida's playing everybody in the back, and somebody was mad at the Gators. And Alabama's schedule is tough on the back end too, for sure, right? Going to Oklahoma, coming back, and then going to play Auburn. I mean, it's a tough schedule for all these SEC teams, and I think the SEC, the new SEC, makes the ACC look like a lower level. Honestly, and some of those ACC teams, again, are probably going to go undefeated or whatever, but man, it's nothing compared to the SEC for sure. So I like the schedule setup. I think it's going to be, very challenging, especially on that back end. Let's look at it one more time, get it a little bit closer. So, Oklahoma, and then Auburn. That's really tough. I know the Collin line is bumpers over that. Missouri, I would assume that they're, I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were this year, but they're a good coach team. You go to Tennessee, you go to LSU, Brian Kelly. I mean, this is a challenging schedule. So wanted to get your take on the schedule, and I'll take your guys' calls in terms of what you guys think about the college football schedule. Before I take my calls, I want to talk about one more thing, and that's kind of the college football headlines, and then I'll dive into the calls. So here are the college football headlines for today. Just some things that I saw happening yesterday. Of course, the antitrust investigation, that is the Florida Attorney General is digging into the College Football Playoff Committee, subpoenaing records and every single thing that she can ask for in terms of what went into the playoffs and all of that stuff. I mean, look, there's a couple things that I think about this. I think that even though Florida State is not necessarily involved with this antitrust investigation, it still makes Florida State look bad, and it makes, honestly, kind of the state look bad, in my opinion. But it will be interesting just to see what comes out of this. I mean, because this is a legit investigation. Like, we're going to find out things from this. That should just be entertaining to see that from kind of like a gossip standpoint. Kyle McCord is moving on from Nebraska. People thought that he was a lock to go to Nebraska. He was the Ohio State quarterback, and I still don't understand why he's leaving Ohio State to begin with. But anyways, he was going to go to Nebraska. He was even in Lincoln this past Monday, and there started to be some smoke about Dylan Raiola, who's the number one quarterback in the country, flipping from Georgia to Nebraska, and now Kyle McCord is saying that he's moving on from Nebraska. So does that mean that Dylan Raiola is going to flip from Georgia to Nebraska? We're all watching that closely. You have Cam Ward, who is a Washington State quarterback, really the hottest quarterback kind of in the transfer portal market, down to 2. Looks like Miami or Florida State. Florida State needs a quarterback to replace Jordan Travis, so that kind of makes sense. Florida State, they have to show. To me, I want to see in next, because the ACC is just different from the SEC, like I just said. I want to see if Mike Norvell can keep the Seminoles maintaining like a 12, 11 game winning season this next year. Can you do it? I don't know. And as I said, the schedule reveal yesterday and kind of all the teams make all the conferences kind of less important to me, but that's just the SEC. All right. Let's go to the phone lines. We got a 205 and we'll take it right now. Hey, I appreciate you calling in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from? It's a little loud on your side. No, I can't. It's just a bad connection. Try to call back. All right, 470. Let's do it. All right, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Andrew from Douglasville. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
All right. So the schedule, man, I like the schedule, man. And if Alabama, doesn't mess up and it's just dominant all season, that's gonna make us look really good because that's a gauntlet of a schedule, man. Obviously, first 2 games are cupcake games, but that's okay. And then you go to Wisconsin, and that's gonna be a packed Big Ten stadium, and that's gonna be a toxic environment to play in. And then you come back, you have your bye week, and then you go to Georgia. It's going to be Georgia, Alabama, and that's going to be a heck of a game, man. That's going to get a lot of TV views and stuff, and that's going to be a challenging game, and that's going to be a revenge game for Georgia. And then you go to Vanderbilt, and that's not going to be too challenging. And then South Carolina, they're pretty good, but we got them at home. And then after that, you got to go to Tennessee, man, and they're going to be hungry, man. They're going to be hungry. Then you got Mizzou, and Mizzou is really good and really good this season, and they're probably going to be pretty good next season. So luckily, that's a home game for us. And the second bye, that's interesting, having 2 byes for once. And then you got to go to LSU, and that's going to be another revenge game for them, man. So they're going to be hungry, and that's a toxic environment to play in. And then another cupcake, and then going to Oklahoma, man. I think Oklahoma's going to get a rude awakening to the SEC, man. I think Alabama's going to go in there and beat them pretty good and show them who's the king of the SEC, make a statement, and then you got the Iron Bowl at home, and it's never that close at home, it seems like, but that is a tough tough schedule, man. And so I think if Alabama's dominant, I think Alabama's going to be a dominant team next season. I think we got the kinks fixed this season, and I just think next season we can be a dominant Alabama team. We got a good QB in Jalen Milroe now. O-line seems to have it together now, we got a good wideout room, and then we have several good running backs, man. So I don't think we should have a problem next season. We should be all set. And then looking into the FSU situation, I'm kind of sick of it from the FSU fans because they got screwed, but it was either going to be Alabama or FSU, and let's face it, everyone wanted a playoff this season, and we've got ourselves a playoff now. And they have no one but themselves to blame because 3 years ago they formed an alliance with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, and they blocked the 12-team playoff, and that's their responsibility now. Mm-hmm. And you know what? They play in the weak ACC, and they need to get out of the ACC if they want to compete the national championships and get to real competition. Try joining the SEC, try joining the Big Ten or something, or the Big 12. I mean, if you want to compete, man, you got to have some competition. You can't be playing cupcakes all season and expect to get the edge over Alabama. That's just unrealistic, and it sucks, man, because they did everything they're supposed to do. But it's what it is, and it's very unfortunate. But also, they were going to get beat by Michigan or Washington or Texas or whoever they played, and it was just going to be another TCU, and no one wanted that. And I think if they actually end up playing against Georgia, I think they should play against Georgia, because if they think they should have been in, they need to make a statement. So I don't get why they're going to try to boycott that game. I mean, if you want to prove the committee wrong, you need to go in there and beat Georgia. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to get beat pretty bad by Georgia. They end up playing. And they're going to prove the committee right, that they made the right choice. But, it's an unfortunate situation. And then, Alabama's got Michigan. And I think if Alabama can do what we did against Georgia, just dominate the line of scrimmage like we did against Georgia, and if Milroe can protect the football like he did, I think we'll be okay. I don't think Michigan's going to give us too much problems. And then I think Texas will beat Washington, and then I think we'll get the revenge game in the national championship. Yep. And Alabama will have 19 national championships. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a pretty good playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that Texas is able to beat Washington, and I think that the Sugar Bowl will be somewhat lopsided. And I know that Alabama is the underdog, but I think the money line is all on Alabama. And I pointed out yesterday on my show that Alabama's defense compared to Michigan's offense, I think they're going to have a really big challenge moving the football against Alabama. You look to the fact that Alabama has, 3 All-Americans, label it 4 with Chris Broswell if you want to. Those guys have a combined 18 sacks. I think they're going to get to J.J. McCarthy. We haven't even really talked about the Alabama offense versus the Michigan defense, and I think that will be challenging for Michigan as well. And I know that Michigan presents a lot of problems on the defensive side, and probably going to challenge Seth up in the middle with some exotic type blitzes, but they haven't faced a quarterback like Jalen Milroe. They haven't faced these type of weapons. You have 3 weeks to prepare. I think that Coach Saban, while his focus right now is on recruiting, come next week on the back end when they start to really prep for Michigan, they'll put a good game plan in place, and I think they'll be ready to go for Pasadena. This is one of the hottest teams in the country. Can you maintain that level of consistency with some time off? That's gonna be between Michigan, Alabama, and Texas and Washington. But I think Coach will get them dialed in. The thing that I love, Andrew, is the fact that we do have a lot of these early enrollees coming into Alabama, and these guys can practice with the team. So you're going to have Julian Sain, you're going to have Jalen Mbakwe, you're going to have a lot of these guys that are going to come in and get to actually practice with the team during the Rose Bowl. Any other thoughts, before I let you go, whether that's Alabama's schedule or kind of the college football headlines or anything else on your minds?
Yeah, I can't believe the state of Florida is suing the committee. That's just stupid, and that's just flat out embarrassing. And I like the state of Florida; it's a good state. And I like Ron DeSantis. I think he does a good job, and I don't know why they're doing that. That's just embarrassing. I mean, you can't sue the committee. I mean, it's done with. You just got to accept it. If you want to make a statement, go beat Georgia. You can't sue your way into the playoffs, man, and it's just embarrassing. And I don't get why Kyle left Ohio State. I mean, he was starting for Ohio
Yeah,
State.
yeah,
Maybe he thought he was going to get replaced or something. And I don't know who wants to go to Nebraska. I don't know why the number one QB is looking at Nebraska. They suck, man. That's just a waste.
yep,
Better off going to Georgia, being in the SEC. You know, if you're good, you probably beat out Beck.
yep.
So that don't make sense to me. And the Washington State QB, I hope he goes to FSU because I think they need a good QB because Tate Rodemaker or whatever, he ain't getting it done.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate for FSU. And like I said, the ACC, they suck, man.
Yep.
So, man, FSU, man, they need to get out of the ACC
Yep.
if they want to compete. And it's unfortunate, but you know what? It's what it is. So I don't see why they can't go to the SEC. I mean, pay the SEC a bunch of money. Hey, we want in the SEC, man. I mean, it sucks, but you know, it is what it is. But like I said, if FSU, they need to make a statement. So you guys want to prove the committee wrong? Go beat Georgia.
Yep.
And back to the Michigan thing. One more point. I think you're right. Michigan hasn't faced a Jalen Milroe,
Yep.
and neither did Georgia, and we saw what happened to them. So I don't know, man. I think Michigan's a really good team. I just don't think the defense can stop the Alabama offense, and I don't think their offense can move the ball that effectively on the Alabama defense. So if they can't move the ball, man, it's going to be an ugly game. Maybe I think it's going to be a close one. I'm predicting 35-28 Alabama. I think it's going to be a good one. You know, you got Alabama and Michigan, two iconic programs, man. It's going to be a good one.
I appreciate the call.
All right,
man.
Kyle, that's
Yeah.
all I got, man.
Yeah, call in again, man. I
I
appreciate
will
you, man.
play.
See you, buddy. All right, Andrew, leading off
I
the
will
show. We got a 601. We got two 601s and then an 865. We'll jump into those in just a second. Yeah, I think when you look to the transfer portal quarterbacks, two of the ones that I don't really understand is why would Dylan Gabriel leave from Oklahoma and then go to Oregon. I get it. It's probably I'm thinking it's an NIL deal, right? It has to be because, you know, Oklahoma, I mean, coming to the SEC, you're going to be on some high-profile games. Then again, I mean, everybody loved what Oregon was doing, but that was an interesting one. And then Kyle McCord, I still don't understand. Does anybody understand that? Like, what am I missing? Is there somebody else that Ohio State has behind him? He's scared of competition? I'm not sure exactly what's happening with Kyle McCord going in. Like the points about Andrew, you know, bringing up the fact about Michigan versus Alabama on the defensive side, and we'll jump into Alabama's offense versus Michigan as we get closer to the Rose Bowl. But yeah, what's up, Ty? I see you inside the comment box. Mario, Gridiron Spartan, thanks for joining us today. 505, what's going on? I appreciate you guys joining. As I said yesterday, programming note, I will be on live tomorrow at 10 a.m., not 9 a.m. Have my little girl's Christmas performance, so I'm going to push back my show an hour. We go back to the phone lines with the 601. Let's start it right now. Hey, Jay, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in.
Good morning, Kyle. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you being here, man. Take it away.
Currently in Pennsylvania right now. So I never did ask you. How did your public speaking go when you went to the college to speak to the kids?
Oh yeah. So Jay's asking. Last week I had the opportunity to give a lecture at the University of Alabama on YouTube. It was really nice. I talked to there was I think 24 students. Each of them are in a digital strategy class to get their master's degree here at the University of Alabama. So they asked the professor asked me to go and speak to their group about the YouTube channel. You know, all the things that go into the YouTube channel. I think I can hit on a lot of those different aspects for the class, whether it's you know, the actual channel, the direction, the strategy, the challenges that we face on a daily basis. How are we changing and growing as a business with the YouTube model? So I hope the students found it very informative. I try to do my best just to kind of speak from the heart and tell them a lot about the YouTube channel. But I mean, giving a lecture at the University of Alabama, my goodness, I never thought I would be able to do that. So it was really, it was really cool. I really had a really good time. I was actually asked by the professor to speak next semester on analytics. So analytics are kind of the back end of the channel. You know, what type of videos do people like to watch? How is it impacting? What is their watch time? Different aspects of that. So next semester I'll be talking about analytics. But anyways, I appreciate you asking. It was a really good time and a really highlight for me to be able to kind of give back and to talk about, you know, a space that I'm very comfortable in, which is YouTube. But anyways, Jay, what's on your mind, man, when you're talking about college football headlines as of today?
First of all, I want to say it was funny with the woman, the attorney. She said, first and foremost, I'm a Gator fan. You guys know that. I find that hilarious. Like you're in the courtroom representing a team who beat y'all with a backup quarterback. That was hilarious to me. I was like, it's crazy. But my wife, she was kind of concerned. You know, we live in Pensacola. She was kind of concerned, like, is it a good thing we still live in Pensacola? You know, we're Alabama fans. I was like, man, I don't care about the folks, man. I'm representing where I go. I don't care about that. But they need to get over it. They need to get over it. And I feel like the reason why they're staying in the ACC, if you want to win, you want to say ACC.
Yeah.
But if you're scared of competition, don't go to the ACC because your record would not be the same in the ACC as it would. I mean, like they play Cupcake or besides LSU, they play Florida State. Florida Gators. Who are they? Like, they haven't been good since the 2000s. So I mean, like I feel like they're going to be who they're going to be, and I feel like Georgia's going. That game, I'm very interested in seeing that game. I feel like that could be a championship game. I feel like that could be a good game as well. But I feel like Georgia's going to dominate, and Georgia has something to prove. They should have been in, but yeah. Besides that, and the schedule, I'm liking this schedule actually. I feel like it's a very competitive schedule, and I'm interested in the 2 bye weeks. So, in the gelling of our team, and with Nick Saban doing this awesome recruiting, and that 6'8" kid, I feel like he's gonna be an impact player. I feel like eventually, like, he just imagine him. You got a 6'7" and came Parker in the 6'8" and that kid. I'm like, this. That's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of the guys that Eric Wolford has recruited have been like giants, literally. I mean, you look at Caden Proctor, Elijah Pritchett. Wilcom Formby. Those guys are like the shortest guys he's recruiting is like 6'7", right? I mean, he wants some height and some size. And this guy, I think a lot of people read into like a 3-star or whatever, but you have to look past that, right? Like the long term, the developmental process with these guys. You know, one of the main storylines for this past year is kind of the progress of a guy like Jaden Roberts, right? Like you look to him and it's like, where was he at the beginning of the year? Now you look to him, a super high contributor for Alabama, probably one of the most underrated players on the entire offense. And to think that he's only a redshirt sophomore is really promising because with him coming back along with Tyler Booker, I mean, those are your guards. And then you kind of, you have to replace JC, but you have Caden Proctor over here. So whoever there's got to be somebody that steps up at tackle at a very high level. And I'm curious to see if Alabama still goes after a transfer that's a tackle. I think it probably could happen. I was saying that about the quarterback position last year. But see, the thing about it is we're going to see more players into the transfer portal and Alabama go into the transfer portal after the season. Because players aren't players are locked in. They want to play in the Rose Bowl, the playoffs. They want to compete for a national title, and then after that, you're going to see players kind of disperse from there. But I still think that there's going to be players. I don't know which ones. I mean, you could probably guess, really well based on looking on the depth chart or whatever. But I still think there's going to be players that leave the program. But for the most part, they've done a good job. I think you only have 5 in the portal, and a couple have found landing destinations. What else is on your mind, Jay?
I just have one more thing. So I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Malik Benson is going to be our Jermaine Burton next year. I feel like he's going to be. He needs to take this year just like Jermaine Burton did.
Yeah.
He needs to take this year to develop and to get himself together. I feel like he's going to be a very impact player because of course we know I was very high on him for what I've seen, and I feel like he's going to be a very impact player.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for you, Kyle.
All right, man.
What's your opinion on that?
I think that look, out of the receivers this year, Malik Benson's dropped a couple passes. But as you've seen in the past, I mean, last year, not a lot of people were excited about Jermaine Burton coming back this year, and he's been a complete ride out. I mean, this is the guy who's absolutely the alpha wide receiver this year. So a lot can change from last year to this year, and I think that I still believe in Malik Benson. I was really excited about him. Hopefully, I don't think it's going to be a kind of a Tyler Harrell type thing. Where remember Tyler Harrell, he came in from Louisville and he had like elite speed, world class speed, and then I think that he had like an injury and things just never panned out for him. Whatever the case is, Alabama has some absolute rideouts coming back though with those 3 sophomore wide receivers. So whether Malik Benson does his thing next year or maybe look, Jalen Milroe gets the football to him. I mean, he's not afraid to throw it to Malik Benson for sure. So I think it's kind of that opportunity. Maybe like the season's not over, right? Players rise up. I still believe that Kool-Aid's going to make a big play, and shoot, who knows? Maybe Malik Benson catches a long touchdown pass. I mean, he certainly has the speed for it. But, yeah, good points, Jay. I appreciate you calling in, man. Be safe on the road, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, man. Roll Tide.
Yeah, Roll Tide team, man. All right, yeah, that's what do you guys think about Malik Benson? I want to get your take on him inside the comment box. Do you think that he, can maybe rise up in the playoffs, or do you think it's kind of more of a next year type thing for the wide receivers, or do you think there's other wide receivers that have just passed him up as well? I don't know. Look, Ty, what's up, man? I appreciate it. He's saying, Kyle, it's going to be a good one between your Aggies and Fresno State. Yeah, so check it. So tomorrow I'm flying to New Mexico. I'll land in Albuquerque in the evening time, 9 p.m., and then I'm actually going to the New Mexico Bowl on Saturday. So excited about that. Haven't been to the New Mexico Bowl since like 2007 or something. But yeah, I mean, it's a great setup there at so in New Mexico, you have the New Mexico Lobos who play in Albuquerque, and then their in-state rivals, the New Mexico State Aggies, which is in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I went to Las Cruces, and it's kind of the difference between like Auburn and Alabama. And New Mexico State is playing in the bowl game. Remember, they beat Auburn. They won 10 games this year. They're coming to Albuquerque. So it'd be like Auburn playing a bowl game in Bryant-Denny Stadium. And they're like anticipating. And the stadiums are much smaller in New Mexico. For example, like Aggie Memorial, where I went, has like, I don't know, like 27,000. And when I was going there, they're lucky to get like 12,000. And then where the Lobos play is like maybe like 38,000. So, look, I love going back home, and I'm going to eat all the breakfast burritos I can, I promise you. But the football is a lot different. Like now, and I'm not, look, football's football. I don't care if it's 6-man or, it's NFL. Like I love it all, but it's just different. Like now I go to stadiums where like I was just at the Mercedes Stadium. I'm getting ready to go to the Rose Bowl. I cover Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's such a blessing to see football, but I'm not from SEC country. So getting to go to all these stadiums, even Starkville's crazy. That place is loud. And someone pointed out no Mississippi schools on the schedule for 2024. Yeah, and someone asked Saban about that earlier this year. They're like, "What do you think about not playing Mississippi schools next year?" And Saban's like, "I don't care about next year." He's like, "I don't care about the schedule next year." He's like, I care about Kentucky this weekend or whatever." So I get it. All right, Coach. We got a 601. Looks like we got Demetrius at 865 and a 251. We'll take this 601 right now. All right, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm calling from Valdosta, Georgia.
What's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you so much, and welcome to the show, man. Take it away. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, man. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm over here in Enemy Live, brother.
Georgia. I got you.
Georgia, already.
Yeah.
This D Myers, man.
No.
I know you see me down in the comment box all the time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I mean, we've been able to make, so many new friends and, new subscribers. I mean, it's crazy to think.
Sir.
Like, I go a lot of places now. I'm kind of like,
sir.
I'm no Josh Pate by any means, but like, because I know he's like completely blown up. But like locally, like here in Tuscaloosa, like I was at the grocery store yesterday, and someone was like, "Yo, I watch your show every day." So starting to meet more people now that the show's been more regular and stuff. It's all good. I like meeting different people, and I mean, think about it. Like almost 100,000 people are subscribed to the channel. So,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's not all from Tuscaloosa. Our biggest areas are actually Atlanta, Nashville, Mobile, Alabama. Those are kind of like our three big areas. And then you have, I mean, there's a good portion from LA. There's a good portion from, the West. You have like Vegas and different places because Alabama, it's just not, secular to like the SEC. I mean, it's nationwide, it's global. So you get to meet a bunch of different people. But anyways, man, welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Yeah, man, I've been rolling with the Tide ever since '92. Gene Stallings, Saban, he just changed the culture, just bring the winning bite to Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just gonna enjoy, because I'm just want to call out AJ because because I was a Mill Road daughter myself, and he changed my mind because the kid. He also, got better and better as the season went on, and I'm proud of him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a believer in him. And you can take this kid off. He's not going to commit to Alabama. He's a born. You know what I'm saying? Take this kid off the string. You know what I'm saying? Roll Tide, baby. But yeah, Miro, man, he's going to bring you home. We got 2 more games to play. Kyle, we love your show, man. We love your energy. And Miss Bell over there in Montgomery, shout out to her over there. She's such a beautiful lady, have a beautiful spirit. And you as well, Kyle. We sure appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All
My
right.
pleasure.
All right.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide team, man. Yep. Yeah, I think I appreciate the call. I mean, honestly, I met a ton of people from the YouTube channel. And, as our last caller was saying about Jalen Milroe, he silenced a lot of people, honestly, with his play on the field. And that's really all you can do is you have to block out that outside noise. You guys see yesterday was his birthday. I put it in the community tab. He was flying in a helicopter over Tuscaloosa. It was a beautiful day here. I mean, the weather's been really good. I got a workout in this morning, and it was 40 degrees. 40 degrees is not cold at all. There's been a couple workouts here, where it gets like 25. I think that's been the coldest that we've had it so far, and that is cold. That does bother me. But, I think Milroe has silenced people. He's silenced the doubters. This team has silenced the doubters. I love the story of this team, and I was thinking about it because it's like going to Pasadena and going to Houston. The budget is going to be expensive, right, to cover these teams on site. And I could stay here in Tuscaloosa, and it'd probably be easier, honestly, to just cover from home. But, what a story it's been. I mean, this is a historic run for Alabama, 100%. And I want to see the story of this team. I want to see what the end story is. I believe that this team goes to Houston and they win a national title game. I'm an optimist. I've been optimistic about this team for a long time. I know if you rewind to the start of the season, there were so many people who gave up on this team. You had former players that were, calling out players or calling out coach. You had people calling out Coach Saban. And Coach Saban, he was like, why wouldn't they be upset? This isn't the standard that people are accustomed to. And what he was able to do from a coaching standpoint, man, this is rare. I hope that you guys out there understand how rare this is to watch what we are watching. We are watching greatness. And what I mean from that is from the top. That's why people are like, Coach Saban is about to, leave or whatever. I don't think so. He looks great. I think he loves going out there to recruit. I mean, for whether he's in Mobile or whether he's out in California, Carlsbad visiting with Julian Sain, this is what he does at the highest level. I love the whole story of this entire team. All right, we go back to the phone lines with the 865. I appreciate you calling in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Yes, Angel again from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Yeah, what's up, Angel? I appreciate you calling back, man. Thank you very much for the support. And what's on your mind, man?
Yes, I have a few things. About the schedule next year, it's going to be tough, but I'm kind of glad we got it worked out for us. The most games I'm excited for is the Oklahoma game and the Wisconsin game, for sure. Those can be trap games.
Mm-hmm.
And, it is what it is, but people are just going to hate, That's what they always do. And then this team though this year reminds me of that team in this movie called Gridiron Gang, because I wouldn't trade y'all for anyone else, which is kind of crazy because I do believe in this team.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't wait for next year too as well. Even though it's kind of sad that the Iron Bowl is at the last game of the season, but it is what it is. But Oklahoma ain't gonna be a pushover. They're gonna be ready.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're Wisconsin and all these other teams.
Yeah, that back end
But,
of back end of the schedule is really difficult. I mean, when you look to the road games that Alabama has this year, I mean, you go to Oklahoma and then, like, think about those last 2 weeks. So you've played this gauntlet of a season. This is a long season too. And then you have to travel to Norman, Oklahoma for a battle, and of course, like, the SEC standings, it's just the 1 and 2. As I said, there's no East and West. It's just the number 1 and number 2 that play each other for the SEC title, and that's right after the Auburn game. So when you're talking like strength of schedule and gauntlets, I mean, this is it right here. I mean, Oklahoma, Auburn, and then if Alabama is able to make the SEC title game, and that's after playing LSU a couple weeks ago on the road. So think about this. You go to LSU and to Oklahoma in the same month, right? And you played Auburn.
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy to think about. So it is definitely a really challenging back end of a schedule for Alabama. Not as I don't know. I mean, Florida has a really difficult schedule on the back end as well. But whatever the case is, man, that's a really tough schedule. And I know it's easy to look to next year. And next year is going to be completely different for college football. You got the playoffs. You got the no divisions for the SEC. I think next year is going to be much more exciting than this year of college football. I know we had some drama throughout kind of with the playoffs and who was going to make it, but I think next year is going to be even more dramatic with the 12 teams making it in this SEC schedule. The SEC to me next year is like right below the NFL, and then you have the other conferences. I mean, the SEC now is like elite. It's even further above the other conferences in my opinion.
Yeah, and not only that, there's going to be a few lost teams in this playoff. There's not going to be one loss. There's going to be like 4, maybe 2 or 3 losses in this playoff. It's going to be crazy. And I feel like half these spots will be SEC teams, though, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to be a lot of chaos probably and a lot of everything. And then people are going to be like, well, we should have like a 16-team playoff. But I'm like, I think 12 is pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then Georgia as well. That's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
Early in the season, even though it's in Alabama.
Yeah. Man, you're not kidding about that. That's I mean, and that's kind of the thing about it too, is like when you have these early season games, no matter the outcome, I mean, you saw how it impacted Alabama. Just one loss at the beginning of the season, they held Alabama to the frying pan the entire season. So let's say Georgia comes in and, I don't know, they're able to beat Alabama, and they're going to be like, well, there you go, Alabama. You guys are ranked 12th. So, and you have a gauntlet of the schedule. It almost makes you like you can't lose again. So I think with this schedule and kind of the fact that you have 12 teams, you can't get comfortable and lose games. But I think they're going to be more lenient in terms of if you do have there's going to be a team in the 12 teams that definitely has 2 losses, maybe even 3 that makes the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, it's just going to be crazy. And, we got to just got to be ready each and every week, Yep. But it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a dogfight every week. And, and this Michigan game, too, as well. They're going to know what it's going to feel like when they play Alabama again, and they're going to get smacked around, to be honest with you.
Anything
else? I think this team's better than Michigan's team.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, any thoughts on this Rose Bowl game that we got here in a couple weeks?
It'll be close for a little bit, but I think Bama pulls on the end and beats Michigan single-handedly because, Nick Saban's going to be ready to coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Nick Saban is a better coach overall than Jim Harbaugh. And not only that, because Nick Saban wins the big games, Jim Harbaugh somewhat does not make the big games, Like in the Super Bowl against his own brother, he loses to him because he's just a better coach.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. I can't wait to see what next year holds in store for Alabama Crimson Tide for next year and the other teams. Looking forward to it.
Yep. All right, Angel. I appreciate the call, man. Call back, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
All right, roll tide to you, man. It's, Angel calling in from Pigeon Forge. Let's do Demetrius. Demetrius, man, I appreciate you being patient, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Kyle. Hey, Coach Nick Saban and his All-Stars getting ready to put the whole college football on trial.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. First things first, I want to talk. I reckon, Florida is a state where everything is woke. I reckon the college football committee is woke. I mean, they got a criteria to go by. Didn't never say deserving or whatever. It said 4 best teams. As far as I'm concerned, Georgia should have been in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they won't. That's what they need to be mad at. Michigan for cheating. We keep rehashing this, but that Florida State, they play politics about everything. From Mickey Mouse now to the elephant, to the Big Al, the elephant. They want to play politics with.
Yep.
And my next little point of view is to I call in to all the Clemsons, to all the Florida States, to the Michigans, to the Ohio State. Your best bet is to stay over there in them cupcake conferences.
Yeah.
Cause that's all they running, they dipping and dodging. They ain't trying to. Thank God that Greg Sankey went ahead. No, I'm gonna make this the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
And I love it, simple fact, because we got the coach that can handle all. I look at that schedule. Yeah, difficult, challenging, but he's been an NFL coach. He's been in these positions. We play everybody best game in, game out. Ain't no more cupcaking around. Hugh Freeze or Yellowwood can get all the NIL deals, give out all the NIL money they want to. Guess what? That's why they're always going to be a 4. If they got these schedules that's coming up, that's why they're going to be a 4 or 5 loss, because you ain't going to be able to take no games off no more.
Mm.
And, we just going to play our best against Alabama. No, sir, buddy. No, sir. You got to bring it every week. That goes for you, Texas, and Oklahoma. You come out here, come from the Big 12 where they put up 60 points a game, and you think we're going to Arkansas. You're going to Arkansas to take a loss.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go into Arkansas and get beat up. Ain't no more cupcaking. Ain't no more cupcaking. It's exciting to see that Nick Saban. I mean, how many years we all done heard he ain't got it no more? They telling the recruits, well, he gonna retire here soon. The old man still got it.
Yeah.
He going to
100%.
these homes. We ain't gonna. Are we gonna get all the recruits? No.
Mm-hmm.
But trust the process. Same thing. I'm gonna win with or without you. Hey, you want to come along? So it's exciting. It's exciting to see that. It's very exciting. But I'm thrilled about what's coming up. This first of all, we need to handle Michigan.
Yeah.
Which I think to me, once again, it all depends on number 4.
Yep.
Jalen Milroe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our defense, I have no problem because you got to figure, this is tough physical. Look, we had this. What was the running back out of LSU we had to deal with for 3 years in a row? The real good running back.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
He played for no, before him. Number 7 down there. What was his name?
Leonard.
Had to go up against him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Leonard. We had to go up against Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Fournette.
think this is the first time we done went up against a physical front offensive line? It's normal.
Yep.
It's normal. And X's no. I'm a lamb a plane cow. I said again, we are fortunate as Alabama fans that the coaches we had. I mean, some good, but some great, few bad ones. Coach Bear Bryant, he built the foundation. Gene Stallings kind of kept it. He kind of shaky, he kind of steered it on the right course. Got kind of shaky again. Now Coach Nick Saban come in and he gets it. That foundation is already there in the process, and he builds a process on how we can just keep this thing going. Roll Tide. Have a rest of your day, and I'm waiting to hear what Robert from Mobile got to say.
All right, man. All right, take it easy, man. All right, thanks for calling in, Demetrius. We got a 251. We'll take it right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from? Hello, are you there?
Hey, man.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, yeah. Robert from Mobile.
Man, I think Demetrius knows the numbers better than I do. Uh, it's so how the numbers come in. I can see like the area codes, and then I can kind of patch people through. But that's why I try to give people like a heads up like where they're at, and like the calls like never stop. I could probably do like a call and show all day long, like an 8 hour show. Um, I don't know. Maybe I will do that. I don't know. I think if I had like some big sponsors, I'd probably think about it. But I don't know. Anyways, Robert, I appreciate you calling in, man, and thanks for joining me in the morning, of course. So what's up, man? Welcome to the show, and what's on your mind, man? Take it away.
Well, yeah, next season, all the SEC teams got to put on their big boy pants,
Yep.
and because it's a gauntlet. I looked at everybody's schedule. There's no such thing as a. I don't see how anybody in the SEC team in the SEC goes unscathed.
Yeah.
You'd have to be 2020 Alabama good
Yep.
to run at these SEC schedules. 2020 Alabama, 2020 Alabama good, you can do it.
Yeah.
But yes, anything less than that, I'm just not seeing how you don't have a loss.
Yep.
And like you said, there's going to be a couple of loss SEC team with a couple of losses.
Yeah.
The Georgias, the Alabama, the LSU's with
Yep.
a couple of losses. So yeah, this is the big boy football. It's almost equivalent to an NFL schedule. I mean, it almost looks like that.
100%.
You don't see a way you're not going to have a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this nonsense of undefeated, undefeated. That doesn't matter. If conferences were similar, then undefeated would be fine. But you can't have one conference who plays nobody and another conference in the SEC who's got at least three people everybody's got at least three teams on their schedule that can beat you. At least three.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Florida State with maybe one if Clemson wakes up. And you want to consider that equal, or you want to sue because your team doesn't make a playoff game over it. Now, of course, next season there'll be a 12-team playoff, so that's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. All the more reason why this lawsuit or whatever she's trying to. I guess they just make blowing smoke because no court's going to take this seriously. And again, what's the remedy? They'll saying what's the court case will be had. Okay, what is the remedy if we take this case?
Yeah.
What do you want us to do? If there's no remedy, it just it's just a waste of time. But yeah, these schedules are. I mean, they say they're gauntlets. It's just
didn't you?
All we came to say that.
Didn't you get a feel yesterday when watching that reveal? And I didn't watch the whole thing. I couldn't even hear what they were saying on TV, but I was just watching like the schedules, and like one week after another, there was these gigantic matchups in the SEC, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then I pulled up the ACC, the list of teams, and I was like, oh my God, like they're irrelevant. Like the conference is literally irrelevant. So if I'm Florida State, I'm begging for an invitation from somebody to get out of that conference. I don't, clearly it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I mean, it made that conference, that show last night was like prime time. Like it was like, these are going to be great games every single weekend. And then I looked at that schedule. I'm like, man, how boring. Can you imagine being an ACC fan, then looking at the SEC and all these matchups? That is big boy football, and you're playing almost a lower level of college football, to be honest. Like there's the competitive balance is way different from the ACC now to the SEC. And I know, the Big 10 and the Big 12 team, they have, new teams going to their conferences, which is going to also be interesting with, like, for example, USC and UCLA joining the Big 10. But overall, I couldn't help but think of the ACC. I'm like, my goodness, like this is sad.
One game I am looking forward to, which may surprise folks, is October 12th, South Carolina. How long has it been since we had got revenge on this team for that loss in 20 when Garcia got lucky and had the greatest game of his life, and he hadn't done crap since then? And we've never had a chance to avenge that game. I'm looking forward to finally getting the South Carolina.
Yeah, I guess with South Carolina coming here, but I remember a couple years ago, I guess was it in 2020 when Alabama went to South Carolina? To Columbia, and there was that.
Was it? It may be.
Yeah, and remember one of the greatest plays that I remember from Najee is basically where they like faked this play and they threw it to Najee, and Najee catches it, stiff armed that one dude, hurdled the other, and then jumped into the end zone. Do you guys remember that? Was that 2019? They're saying. So they went up to Columbia, but in terms of like them coming back over here, I think it's probably been a little bit of time. But that was like one of the no, so that game, the game that they lost was in 2010, and then the game where Najee went off was
Oh
in
yeah, you're right.
2019.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It was 2019.
That was that was crazy, but that was one of the craziest plays I've ever seen. Like that was when Najee was like started hurdling dudes. Like I miss Najee. What else you got, What else you got, Robert?
Also disappointed in the 2019 season because we didn't do well in that season. I guess they're 10 to 1 to forget it.
Yeah. I guess.
But
that was the.
I mean,
yeah.
we just got. Yeah, we just gonna take big boy. This is big boy football all the way in these SEC teams.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC is going to be born itself in the premier conference. We already were that, but we're just going to definitely be the premier. Is any other conference? What about the Big Ten? Are they doing anything similar with any teams worth a flip? That they're getting expanding their conference?
Yeah, so the Big Ten has they kind of like accepted some of the teams from the Pac-12. So I think they're adding USC, UCLA,
Right.
and somebody else. But I was thinking, man, like, can you imagine? Because Rutgers is in the Big Ten, right? So can you imagine being in? Okay, so we're just thinking football. But can you imagine playing a sport like softball or basketball and being a student athlete? Oh, and then Oregon and Washington. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Which I like the additions of those as well. Okay, so let's take Washington and Rutgers and like, I don't know, basketball or softball. Can you imagine being a student athlete and having to fly from Washington to Rutgers, right, to New Jersey to go over to play to Rutgers, and then having to balance like school and then flying back, and like, do you play like, on the way, if you're Washington, do you stop and like play Michigan and then go back home? Like, man, that's crazy, coast to coast.
Really.
Yeah,
that's
gonna be crazy. Like, those other sports like softball, basketball, but I don't know. I mean, we really just focus on football, which is kind of a week-to-week thing. But I think in terms of what those students are going to be facing, that's going to be really interesting to see how they juggle that. But yeah, Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA in the Big Ten, which is pretty cool to me. What else you got, Robert?
Yeah, one thing though is the Alabama future hinges around Jalen Milroe. The rest of the team is ready to play good around him. Back when Bryce was in there was a quarterback, Nick Saban would constantly say, "Yeah, we need the rest of the team to play better around him. We need the rest of the team to play better around him," and that was true. I mean, I watched Isaiah Bond go from a guy who drops a key pass, a great pass from Bryce Young in the LSU game that would have extended the drive and probably changed the outcome. He drops it. And I watched him go to the guy that catches it in the corner of the end zone in the Auburn game, and it's been Mr. Clutch for Jalen Milroe. So yeah, the team is ready to play well around Milroe. He's got the pieces for the team to play well around him.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to him now to take that next step. He has not reached his ceiling. And if you look at the clips, there's some plays. All right, Milroe, yeah, we need you to do this. We need you to hit that. We need you to, because if he hits his ceiling, he could be the second coming of Cam Newton good. That's how good he can be.
Yeah.
And I think it's him holding him back. And if he hits his ceiling, we can run 2024 schedule and look good doing it.
Yeah.
And then go undefeated if he hits his peak. And his peak is because his ceiling is still really high.
Mm-hmm.
And if he hits his ceiling and with all the players around him, we're unstoppable.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll clean up those things, get those game manager throws, make quick decisions. Don't be indecisive when you run and when you don't run, because you got the skills out the wazoo. If you hit that peak, if he hits his peak, the sky's the limit. Yeah. Then we're an unstoppable team at that point. So he has the keys. I mean, he has the players. It just don't hold yourself back. All right, man.
All right, take it easy, Robert. I appreciate you, man. Robert calling in from Mobile. I appreciate it. good point on Jalen Milroe. Like when you look to him in terms, because that's why like we've been talking about this a couple times this week. The fact that people have been asking if Jalen Milroe is going to come back next season. I 100% do. I haven't talked to like his team or anything like that, his camp, but I just think he's unfinished, and I think his ceiling is still so high here at even the college level. So him coming back with that schedule in 2024 and finishing out this season, right? I think that huge ceiling. I don't even know if he's like halfway to the ceiling. Honestly, I think that we're going to see something else during the playoffs from him. And who knows, maybe even in this next year is when he really starts to find himself. Because what we talked about it yesterday, he started 13 games. I mean, compare that to, the other quarterbacks that were at the Heisman table or whatever. I mean, what did Bo Nix start, like 50 games? Jaden Daniels, well over 30, something like that. So, man, 13, I definitely think that Jalen's coming back 100%. All right, 773, let's do it. All right, welcome to the show. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Mike from Chicago again. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much for joining the show, man. Take it away.
Yeah, okay. I might be dating myself, but okay. So for the AG, the Florida AG, okay, in 1993, Charlie Ward led FSU team went into Notre Dame Stadium and lost. Had a one loss. At the end of the year, Notre Dame lost to Boston College that year, and they had one loss. Guess who is the national champion for the 93-94 season?
I like it.
FSU. Yeah. So as a judge, my first thing I would say is, hey, if you give back that national championship trophy and rescinding that year national championship, I will consider hearing your case. And until then, I don't want to hear about undefeated, one loss, who lost, whatever, because at some point in time, you did believe in the best team. Yeah. You lost to Notre Dame, but somehow or another, you're willing to take the national championship over Notre Dame. So that was in the night. I mean, so yeah, it's hypocrisy at its worst.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that point in, number one. Number two, the Rose Bowl. Can't wait to see Alabama. When the sun sets at the Rose Bowl, when they're playing, and you see those mountains and that haze.
Yeah.
I want to see that victory, that the score up and that haze and those mountain view. That's going to be the best looking view ever on New Year's Eve. Got to see that. That's going to be the best look right there. Pretty much that's all it is. I'm going to make it quick so other people can get in. But, yeah, I just wanted to bring up that point about FSU and the craziness that they're talking. I mean, it's 15 million things to be doing, AG. You're telling me you want to bring a court case for football. Okay, got it. Yep.
All right, man.
Hey, Cal, have a good one.
All right, thanks for calling from Chicago. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that look, I'm kind of curious now that the can of worms has been open and just to kind of see like what they uncover. I guess let's see what they find out. But I think that they could probably be doing other things in the state of Florida, just in my opinion. So yeah, they have a whole antitrust investigation. This is literally going to take place. Like the guys have been subpoenaed and they're going to have to comply with this investigation. So that is taking place 100%. And I think the 1993 are, bringing up 1993 when Florida State won the title. I think that was a good point by Mike out in Chicago. Fam, I appreciate you sticking with me today for an hour right here on Thursday. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. If I didn't get your call again tomorrow. Remember, programming note, I will be on live tomorrow at 10 a.m., not at 9 a.m. because I do have my little girl's Christmas recital at her elementary school. And I know if you're a parent out there, time is always fleeting with them. So it's important to make those, special times, for your children. I can't wait to see it. So I appreciate you guys being with me. And then on Saturday, I'll be back in New Mexico to check out the New Mexico Bowl for the New Mexico State Aggies taking on the Fresno Bulldogs. That should be cool. Coming to you from Albuquerque. I'll be doing my show all next week from New Mexico leading up to the time that I leave to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. We're up to 98,000 subscribers right here on Bama Football on YouTube, closing in on 100,000. I think it's probably going to happen by December 31st. So share the channel with your friends, and I appreciate all the continued support. I will be be coming to you as news happens. Make sure and watch our YouTube shorts. But anytime there's news, major news, I'll definitely be live. I'll have a video on it. You guys know how the channel works. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Of course, thank you very much for supporting the Coaches Show as well. And have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will talk to you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube.